you still feeling the exact same way you did at 3-0 as you do right now, as the way the direction of Prime's Boulder, Colorado's Buffaloes are headed?
No, I'm pretty concerned at the moment, and I'm not concerned necessarily with the score. That Pullman's been a house of horrors for CU.
You're a real one, man. I love you, even though if we argue. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super concerned because they're losing commits. Like, they just lost Talon Chandler, and Talon Chandler is one of my guys. And he was the first commit of the class as an offensive lineman guard center. He's early enrolling in January at Missouri now. And when I talked to him,
Is that official?
Oh, yeah, he did it yesterday. He decommitted.
Now, you know why?
Of course I do. Of course I
Okay.
know. I mean, look, this is why.
You ain't got to tell us if you want.
No. I don't give a shit. It's all truth. It's all fact. Anybody can look this up. You want to know why? Okay, this is why. They're dead last running the football. They're dead last on defense, and they're dead fucking last protecting the passer. Now, I love the University of Colorado with all my heart. And the one consistent about that place is me. So even when Coach Prime and his folks rotate out, I'll still be here. I'll still be beating the drum. I'll still be fucking supporting. I was supporting last year when we were 1-11, and I was up there talking to the team before our only win. I'm supporting this year. I'm still supporting. I think the lazy analysis of just, oh, well, they're dead last means that they're terrible. Like, I'm not going to listen to the fucking little meatball talk shit and like act like the betting line is the only thing going on in the evaluation of a football team. Are they way improved than they were last year? Way improved. They've got multiple draft picks on their team. I think that they've got some really good players. That said, when you got Joe Klatt, who's an ex-teammate of mine, we were captains together. He's one of my best friends on this earth. A guy that we were on the board of advisors. I don't know if they're advisors, but the board of like people giving advice when we were talking about hiring Coach Prime. I still think it's a great move and will pay off in the long run. But when Klatt's on Big Noon kickoff before Maryland, Michigan, and he's talking about the fight song and like he's singing it on Big Noon, but we don't sing it. And then Coach Prime's coming out and everyone in Buffalo country is talking about like, we need a sense of community and the kids don't really understand where they play and everybody's like kind of out for themselves in Mercenaryville and there's no community here. Well, when you don't sing the fight song or do traditional things that happen at a college, you don't bring people together. The fight song is about bringing the fans, the coaches, the players, the alum, everybody together after a dub. It's not the super lethargic fight song you see or hear in the stands. The ones that we do, the player fight song, like the rookies have to go down and like sing it and they never do it right. And all the vets go down and show them how. And it is fucking nuts for 10 minutes. And then they realize where they're at. But I have asked Coach Prime and the coaches up there so many times to go up there and let me do this. And they don't even respond. I don't get responses from the recruiting department. I don't get responses from anybody. And I got dudes falling out of the rafters in the transfer portal that want to transfer and go other places. They're great players. Last year, we've gone over the list last year of guys that I put out that are, Drake Nugent, Casey Roddick, Jake, Austin, the Cole Taylor, the list goes on and on of all guys that are about to get drafted or play another year at their new schools. So I'm not trying to talk shit. And the fact that I have to like defend myself and my passion for this place, the fact that I have to like apologize and say, I hope I don't get blackballed, it's ridiculous to me. And I'm over it. So anybody over at Colorado, and I hate to say this, but that includes every single person, everyone. If you have a problem with what I'm doing or how I say things or how I articulate my passion and pride for the university that I love, where you're just working where I love, you're working there. That's it, like in reality, this is my stomping grounds, bro.
It's a stepping stone for some of those pups.
It is the stone for me. It's my foundation stone. It's your stepping stone. It's my foundation stone. And I really want to help this place. And the more that I say I want to help it, the more everybody's like, oh my God, he's so loud. And oh my God, he's so He's so opinionated, and we don't like that. And I'm sitting here like, you need some loud, opinionated assholes on that team. All you've got is a quarterback that's getting his ass beat and can't finish the game now. We knew that would happen. Travis Hunter's special. After that, bro, you got a bunch of dudes. I'm sorry, but the dudes they ran out last year and the guys they brought in are the same guys, if not worse. That was the same team I've been seeing in Boulder for the last 10 years, what I watched on Saturday night. Now, have they improved exponentially? Did they play Oregon State one score and USC one score, and the Stanford game was a disaster? But other than that, like, they played, Oregon State's a damn good football team. They almost beat Washington 22-20. That was a hell of a football game. I've gotten to the point now where now everybody had the flu. That's the new excuse from the weekend. People were sick. Look, bro, again, I know this is going to be received wrong, and I know that people are going to get mad at me for having passion about my university. But I'm sorry. I can't sit around and act like this is acceptable. And I know Coach Prime doesn't think it's acceptable either. And I was on DNVR Buffs on Wednesday before, they played Friday night, so I went in a day early. And DNVR Buffs is a great show. It's the mecca for Buff coverage here in Denver. And I said this, and I really want to get Coach's opinion on this. I think that coaches and players that shut it down during the season and don't finish, even when you are losing, especially when you have the opportunity to go 6-6, because I just watched Arizona's dog stomp Utah. So don't tell me they're not beatable. And I'd love to hear what Weddle has to say about this, because I think they're way better. But Coach Weddle's a coach. JB's a coach. We're both players, but I coach, but I don't do it in the framework of coaching. I just got done coaching, but it's different. I think the guys that shut it down in the middle of the season are the worst players, coaches, general managers. I can't stand. I hate them. I hate them with every ounce of my being. And I said this last week. I am praying to God that everybody in Boulder is not thinking about Cancun and Christmas break. The coaches aren't thinking about their next job. They're still recruiting. The players aren't thinking about their next opportunity in the transfer portal. They're still playing and developing. They're not worried about vacation time if they can't transfer. Everybody's not sitting around the locker room bitching about things they can't control, trying to control themselves and their own mental processes and how they go about it. And then I watched the game on Friday night, the national broadcasted game, again at 8:30 at night. It's crazy, but it is what it is. And I watch a team quit. I watch a team not play hard. I watch a team not have any fire. I watch 4 sacks in the first 10 plays. Shador get knocked out of the game. Travis Hunter's flying around and playing like a man possessed. I don't know why everybody else can't channel that same aggression. I'm not expecting you to channel the same athletic ability, but goddamn, do you think we can meet the passion and the fury? And then to wake up on Sunday morning and you just lost the number 1 recruit last week, the kid that decommitted, who was the first pick of the first commit of the class, who's been with Prime since Jackson State. And then you lose Talon Chandler, one of my guys, to Missouri, who's the first offensive lineman in the class committed, and the guys that have been recruiting all these other kids. I wouldn't doubt if you see 3 or 4 commits drop. And all this full circle goes back to what I said. Apparently in Boulder, they're on Christmas break already. The coaches have shut it down. The guys are decommitting. The players just want to go 1, 2, 3 Cancun. And look, let me just say this before I shut up. I'm so sorry that I have an opinion. I am so sorry that I care. I am so sorry that I have 15 guys in the transfer portal that are all quality Power 5 D1 players, 7 or 8 of them offensive linemen that could be in Boulder that aren't because you won't pick up the phone. I apologize. I apologize for giving a shit. And if I have to send my message through the media and that's the only way you hear it, well, God damn it, that's what I'm going to do.
Man, I appreciate you and respect you as always. Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot for a cat to come in and just talk the real. That's what we do on the show. That's why it separates it from everybody else. Weddle calls out Utah when they're struggling. We've said, Weddle and I talked about the third-string quarterback just at the end of the day is biting them in the ass. I think Winningham's one of the best coaches in the country. I think eventually you're going to get bit in the ass with the quarterback play. But what you said it stood out to me before you get out of here is just it's like you don't care because you're going to be there forever, regardless. These people just go there. It's a stopping point for them. It's not they're not loyal. This is your university. This is not their university. And I don't know. This is my question to you, and I would like you and Weddle to answer. I want to see Coach Prime name change to Coach Sanders. If we're going to really take it to the next level as a professional coach, we knew him as Neon Dion. We knew him as Neon Dion, coach, primetime Deion Sanders when he played. And if he's going to go into a kid's house and recruit him, it needs to be, this is the Colorado Buffaloes head coach, Coach Sanders. Until that changes, in my opinion, I think it's going to be looked at from these other guys like the commits that you're talking about, and they're going to continue to go elsewhere because I think they think it is a branding ploy over a coaching job. And that's what I think this is. I don't know, Weddle, what you think, but I just think he needs to change that aspect. And I'll be honest, Weddle, if Deion leaves tomorrow and takes one of these jobs, I truly think that it's actually setting Colorado back worse than they were when he got
there. Good to see you guys. Happy Monday.
Hi, Wed.
Happy Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Hey, Weddle, before we even start, I know you guys had a tough second-round playoff loss to give everybody an update. I know that's the worst update to give, but you guys had a hell of a season. First-year coaching, first-year head coach, second round of the playoffs. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, it was hey, that's the great thing about sports. You live, you learn. I could have done many things better, not just in that game in the season, which is always got to reflect on yourself first, and that's what, that's the greatest leaders I've been around always look to their selves first and how they could be better, and then move forward with the individuals that you coach. So it was a great year. Nothing that to be not proud of for the boys. And like Coach Sanders would say, I don't. He's Coach Sanders to me, but this is the lowest you'll be. This is the lowest we'll be. So only up from here. And
that's right.
Only up from here. But like to Matt's part, like when you're an alum of a university, you could say what you want, and the coaches and the people that know you understand that we have an opinion and we know what's really going on. And if people can't handle that, then that's just the reality of being in it. Like we were in it, and you want to be in it, and there's a distinct difference, and we're allowed to say our opinion. Because at the end of the day, we are very fire and passionate. And to attest to what Colorado showed, that's Utah, what we showed against Arizona. Now, Arizona's playing lights out right now, probably one of the best teams in the Pac-12. But we can't ever get blown out. Like that's just unacceptable, ever. Like no matter who's out there playing, no matter who's coaching, that's unacceptable. And they all know that. That's what they said after the game. When Coach Fish scored at the end of the game, Coach Witt said, kudos to them, right? We should have stopped them. Keep beating our tails in, right? Yeah. That's just the reality. So it's unfortunate. I hope this last game, I hope it's competitive, and I hope the boys fight. I know Utah's going to come out with fire in their hair because of what happened last week, and I only hope Colorado hasn't cashed it in, because last week that wasn't the team that we've seen all season. No, that's unfortunate.
Hey, let me ask you, Matt, before I know you want to say something, Matt, let me ask you this to you, both of you guys. First of all, Matt, I don't know if you want to go on it or not, but Whitlock's texting me. He would like you on the show today. Here's the thing.
Jason Whitlock?
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I'll go on. Well, I don't go.
Yeah, it's a big platform. Promote your show. Here's the thing. I got to ask you, though. Did Deion quit on them, or did the players quit on Deion?
Look, I hate when I have to say quit, but I know what I watched. And with the exception of Trap, like I thought guys played hard. Ward played hard. He was downhill, laying the wood. Like it's hard for me to just point at any specific player and say you quit. But as a whole, like I felt like they were beat before they even stepped on the field. Like they didn't want to be there. And it's really hard for me to just sit here and say they quit. But at the same time, I think the realization and the ability to be honest with yourself is so important here. And I think that's one of the biggest problems up there is the inability to handle criticism as a man, especially in this game. It puts you in a defensive position as a player and as a coach rather than in a in an acceptance position where you can say I was wrong and I didn't play well, or I didn't communicate well, or I didn't prepare well, and that's on me. Like if anything happens at 6-0, it's on me. If I tell a kid to decommit somewhere and it doesn't work out, that's on me. Like as a leader, I have to take responsibility for everything. It's like the quarterback position. If something good happens, I'm deferring all the praise to my O-line and my skill players in the defense. If something bad happens, it's all on me. It was my fault. I will take it and I will get better. And I think that the University of Colorado and Coach Prime, everything started off so well. When they started hitting adversity, the players and the coaches, I think everybody started isolating themselves in this regard. How do I take care of myself to make sure I'm going to be okay, rather than how do I make sure I'm good so I can help the group so we can all be okay and pull out of this. So I look, man, I think that there's a lot of teachable moments off of this, but coaches and everybody on this platform, everybody listening, you can attest to this, and how you think about this is pretty much how you think, and it tells me a lot about you. Are you losing or are you learning? Like, did we lose 5 straight, or did we learn something from each game we've dropped? It looks like on Friday night, based on that, it looks like we haven't learned anything. It looks like we've just like packed it in. And like if they go out, and I'm not trying to blow Utah here, but I went there at the beginning of the year, watched them play Florida. That place is special. They're back-to-back defending Pac-12 champions. They can't win it again this year because they're a bowl team, but they can't play for the title. So this is a huge get-right game after laying an egg last week. They have so much pride and so much passion at that place. They don't play soft. They never like loaf. Everybody gives a shit. So that tells me that if CU goes out and tries to play at Salt Lake the way they played in Pullman, bro, that will be like they'll have to call the dog. Like Coach Wenningham is a pretty cool dude. He'll have to call the dogs off in the third quarter. He'll be like, okay, just start running the ball and take knees and shit. It'll get so ugly. So they've got to figure this out, and it starts here, gentlemen. It starts with what's in your chest, dog. It's not about scheme anymore or what your uniform looks like or any of this bullshit. It's about your fucking heart. Do you have any? Are we trying to finish this correctly and give a fuck, or are we just trying to go to Cancun?
I got to ask you both as a player in the league, Weddle playing at the highest level. I got to ask you guys, like, I say it all the time, you allow it or you coach it, right? We all know that. They're the most penalized group in Power 5. And
That's bad.
Week to week, you as a coach looking on the outside looking in, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, what is going to change from week 8 to week 9 when we're still the same penalized team? I looked at it and I'm like, why are the fuck is Travis Hunter over at the student section talking shit to this fucking fans that are meaningless to him? I'm like, there's a reason why we're the most undisciplined group, because we're continuing to allow it and there's been no change in it. And I'm sitting there like, dog, this is why I believe you see some decommits. I'm not going to blow it off and say, oh, he's over with, because we already know he's going to hit the portal and he's going to continue to get those players. But at the same time, the most telling thing I can see from it, E-Dub and Matt and Smitty, is that when you don't have a second string QB that's worth a shit, or even a decent third stringer, it tells me that some guys are unwilling to come to your program because of how you started off your initial meeting with the team. And I just saw that, and I'm looking at it like, uh-oh, he's going to have an issue getting another Q. If you look at Sark's Texas team or Lane's Ole Miss team or these other teams, they got 2-3 decent quarterbacks, contrary to everyone's belief that thinks they're all leave and go in the portal. No, you can keep them. And I believe Dion can keep a good quality backup. But I don't know if he's really trying, because I think all eggs in one basket right now to get Shador out. And I don't know if that's hurting him in recruiting or not.
I think it's obviously hurting him. And look, I'll end on this, but my show today at 10, 0 to 60 on Believe is going to be spicy. We're going to talk about just Buffs and Broncos. I went to the Sunday night game last night. I got one thing to say about that. Obviously, it's hurting recruiting. There's guys dropping. I can't believe Talon Chandler dropped. Like that kid has been all buffs all the time since day one. It's essentially like me being the first commit of my class in 2000, dropping CU. Like that is a massive, massive, massive red flag. And what he told me on the phone, I'm not going to reiterate what he told me. That's between coach and player. But it wasn't good. And it's not just because Missouri's doing well. It's because of what it's because of what's actually happening. Okay. So that's number one. The recruiting part is a massive problem that they've got to get fixed. I don't know how they fix it, but they have to fix this shit. Now, the difference here between all of this for me, I don't really go to pro football games, bro, ever. And I try to there's something about college football games that's different than pro football to me. Pro football is incredible, but I don't really like going to the games. Last night was pretty cool. When they were singing the national anthem, I was like tearing up. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, the difference in feeling between Mercenaryville and the business that is, and then college, I wish the kids, like this is one of the things about college football that's really irking me right now. And I don't know the answer to it. And I'm not ashamed of myself for not knowing. I don't know. Bro, I have so much pride in the University of Colorado. Weddle has so much pride in Utah. You have so much pride in Ball State. Like people have so much pride in their universities, dog, because you chose them and they chose you. And you went there for 4 or 5 years and you built something, and that's your home. Well, now with NIL and everything, the transfer portal and everything, college football has become just this big, like, mercenary station.
It's free agents without a return, Matt.
It's a jump. And now you're expecting kids to have heart and passion for their university, but everybody there is just trying to go to the league. Like, not everybody's going to play there. I don't really know my point here other than there's such a stark difference between the two leagues. But for some reason, the kids in college seem to think they're already at the NFL level. And it's, man, I'm starting to really resent. I'm starting to resent the shit out of the transfer portal and the way this is going. I think that if college football has done something to itself that I don't know if they can repair, bro.
Hey, I'm not going to say I've been telling everyone so. I'm not going to do that shit. That's who I am and what I believe as a coach with the temperature, gauging the temperature of these players in the landscape. I've been seeing it for years. And when I have players of mine come on the show who are in the league and agree, then I'm starting to know that I'm actually leaning towards the right side of this thing, because you allow me to coach it, dog. I mean, look at when you be careful what you ask for when we try to sign brands over players or hire brands over coaches. Look at this girl Reese for LSU. She became a household name, and now she's ineligible. Coach suspended her because she's ineligible because she thinks she's an NBA, WNBA player already. And that is what we're seeing at the college level, in my opinion, from players, because we have kissed their ass and, no offense, sucked their dicks so they don't transfer. And at the end of the day, you've lost all integrity in the locker room because guess what? They still transfer. So, like, when are you going to say, hey, nah, dog, don't miss class. Sit in the front row. Be on time. Or you won't play. But when they do that and you still allow them to play, your locker room has lost you. You're done. And then they still transfer. So, I don't know, man. I just think it's bad for business. I'm all for NIL, the E-Dub, Smitty, Matt, but the transfer portal is the problem, because if you pay a guy, make them earn it, and they can't go anywhere, they're going to toughen their skin just through osmosis. You're going to toughen your skin just because you can't go nowhere.